everybody? Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Battle report number 58. This is game number 2 of the Baton Rouge tournament. It's 5,000 points. Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Cons, versus Anna's Gobos of the Orcs and Goblins. This was a very cool army to play against. I got a lot of really great pictures. Anna was a really cool opponent, and you know what? Her husband kind of ran this tournament. He was sitting there helping her out the whole time. We had a blast. We did start a really late on this game, so it does not go all the way to turn 6. We ended up stuck at a restaurant way late, and she ended up leaving to go do something while we were gone, not know we were going to be back when we did. So this is a shorter game, but it's an intense game. It's a really good game. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how it goes. Here's my list, which is pretty much the same. Well, actually, it is the exact same from the last battle report, because otherwise I'd be cheating. I have my Great Khan Blackshade. He's my general. He's got Jack's Pickaxe, the Hardened Shield, Talisman of Greater Shielding, and Horde Master. I, of course, still have my Khan. He's my BSB. He's got the Heart Ripper, the Charm of Cursed Iron, and Troll Eater. I have my Shaman Skaz with 3 learned spells, the Seed of Rebirth, and Shamanism. And then, of course, I have my Mammoth Hunter, Lord Tremendous. He's got the Ogre Crossbow, the Razor Blade, the Armor of Fortune, the Aurochs Charm, Headhunter, and he's on his trusty Tusker, the War Teddy. He'll melt your face. It's kind of his thing. For my core choices, I have 7 Tribesmen, the good old boys. They have a full command Iron Fist and the Banner of Discipline. I have a second unit of Ogre Tribesmen, the Conquerors. They have full command and Iron Fists. And then I have a unit of 18 Scraplings, the Randos. Somebody said the random ones, and I like the Randos. I'm a nerd. They got a musician and bows. I have no shame. I start off my special choices with 7 Scrapling Trappers, the favored pets. And then I have 2 saber-toothed tigers. The first one is Bow Wowzer. The second one is affectionately known as Meat. And then I have 3 Tusker Cavalry with a banner, great weapons, and the War Standard. Haven't thought of a name for these guys yet and haven't seen one that I like yet, so keep the suggestions coming. Maybe you'll win. And, you know, I always like good ideas. In the Powder Keg category, I have my Thunder Cannon of Doom. And then in the Chain Beast category, I have my Frost Mammoth, Rufus. The guy's on how to carry a couple of Ogre crossbows, but he's the star of the show. When I remember how to use them right. And then, of course, I have my Rock-a-Rock Elf Eater with the Rider with a Lance, Shyhammer. Yeah, these guys kick ass and take names. That's going to do it for my list. I'm going to go ahead and post my opponents, play some music. Feel free to pause it whenever you'd like to see what they took. Here are my spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. And here's deployment. For the most part, I think I got to deploy first, and I just threw everything down. The Tusker Cav and the cannon are on the right flank there. I've got the good old boys, my general, both saber-toothed tigers, Skaz behind them, and Rufus in the middle, because I figured that's a solid combo. To the left of Rufus, I've got the Conquerors and Elf Eater, because I figured my center should be the strongest. That's where I'm going to push through, and I'm playing the Goblin army, Orcs and Goblins army. Whatever they have, it's going to be spread out. They're not going to be able to castle. I should be able to take them out pretty well. I've got the Scraplings and Lord Tremendous and the Trappers all over there on the left flank. The idea here is to put as much damage downrange as possible and let Lord Tremendous run around the left flank. Hopefully meet the Tusker Cav on the right flank in the middle somewhere and clear the table. The objectives for this one were table corners, and so yeah, that's really it for deployment. Here's top one after movement, and I mean, I just came forward. My Tusker Cav did charge his common goblin raiders, I believe, the wolf riders, and they fled and they got away, so I failed my charge. Not by much, but enough. And other than that, everything in the middle came forward other than the cannon. Cannon is going to try to put some shots into that spider before it's too late. And I've got my trappers going after the forest goblin raiders, the ones on the spiders on the left flank. I've also got the scraplings, the randos. They come up on the hill to also shoot at the spiders. I figure with toughness 3 and a low armor save, I should be able to take off a bunch. That's the hope anyway. Lord Tremendous even moved up because he's going to take a pot shot at him. I'm hoping by the end of my shooting phase that unit is mostly disappeared, if not fleeing. His general is in the back there in that big group of goblins that are actually on the hill, but they couldn't all fit, so where those little mushrooms are is actually where they're at. But yeah, that's really it for movement. There's a better picture of my Tusker Cav chasing away the common goblin raiders, or wolf riders, or whatever you want to refer to them as. During the magic phase, I don't get much off. Just Chilling Howl on Rufus there. He gets it off on himself so that when my opponent shoots at him, it's a little bit more difficult for him to wound, hopefully. And then in shooting, the only thing to do anything were the scraplings. Everything that Lord Tremendous fired missed. Well, everything. His one shot missed. The trappers and the scraplings together were able to take out 3 of the spiders. It did force the panic, but they passed with flying colors. But a quarter of that unit is dead. My trappers are going to get charged next turn and they're screwed. But hey, at least 3 spiders are no longer on this plane of existence. I'll take what I can get. And with no combat, we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement, and my opponent comes up. As you can see, for the most part, everything fires forward. His raiders on the right flank there do not rally. They actually, I think she rolled like an 11, so they continue to flee. They're not off the board yet, but they're trying. And then his spider raiders on the left flank there, they charged the trappers. I stood and shot, because why not? And I rolled out of the box. I ended up killing 3 of the spider riders, and they had to take a panic, and this one they failed. Can you believe it? And they fled, and that's where they ended up, which is insane. And everything else came trundling up pretty quick. We're going to see combat really fast in this one. For the most part, I wasn't too concerned. My dogs came up in such a way that I'm able to send one onto the wrecking team and take that out before it can do any damage. And the other one will go in front of the big unit of goblins to see if there's any mad gits in there so that they have to release in a shooting phase, her shooting phase. Hopefully they survive. But yes, that was my counter plan to her movement. And that's it for movement. There's a better picture of the spider riders fleeing from my trappers, and that was just plain stupid lucky. During the magic phase, the goblin shaman that they had, or that she had pyromancy, and she kept using it on Elf Eater, and I let it go because he's toughness 6 with a 4 up. You'd have a 5 up armor against it, so I felt pretty confident. And then she got one off on the Conquerors there and kills the guy, just flat out kills the guy. I don't remember what spell it was, but holy crap. I might have to look at pyromancy again after this because it was putting out some damage on my ogres, which was surprising. Nothing happens in shooting or combat, so we go here to top of 2 after movement. And this one is a little crazy. My trappers charged the... Lord Tremendous charged the spider riders on the left flank just to make them continue fleeing. He didn't try to redirect or anything like that. And, of course, the spiders got away. The trappers moved up to harass the orc unit on the left flank there. One of my saber-tooth tigers runs up to get within 8 inches of the goblins, and he makes it, which is good. I don't care if that unit charges my dog. I just have to be within 8 inches during his shooting phase, and that unit cannot be engaged in combat. And he's got to release his mad gits. If he goes into the dog, that's fine too. I'll charge with the Conquerors and let the dice land where they may. My other saber-tooth tiger, as you can see, goes into the wrecking team and sacrifices himself nobly and destroys both of them. And then my Tusker Cav were able to charge into his Nashers, big unit of Nashers, and got a hold of them easily, slammed into them. And I'm hoping they'll win this combat because I believe even at Steadfast they would only be Leadership 6, and they're too far away from the General or the BSB to get a reroll. It's a gamble because if they don't and those Nashers stick, that big thing right there, both those big things on the left are giants. And while my Tusker Cav are tough, they're not two giants in the face tough. So I know what happens. You'll see what happens in a little bit. Other than that, nothing else really moves. I kind of back up a little bit because I'm not quite ready to get into combat with everything yet. I want to see where everything goes in her turn. But that's really where I end up for movement. There's a better picture of my Tusker Cav slamming into the Nashers, and this is a gamble, but it's the one that I think I've got the upper hand in. And there's a better picture of the blank spot where the Nasher Wrecking Team and my Tiger used to be. And there's a better picture of Lord Tremendous chasing off the spiders. They're almost off the table. During the magic phase, I get Chilling Howl off on Elf Eater from Skaz, and again, he's shooting at Elf Eater a lot with his Skewer and Git Launcher, so I was nervous, so I threw that on there to help him out. And then during the shooting phase, the trappers are able to kill off one or two of the orcs. I know this picture looks very similar to the one where Lord Tremendous chased the spiders off, but it's not. It's just vaguely different because there's two less orcs on the table. But trappers are really kicking ass today. They must have been at the pitching range or something because they are spot on with their hits. Then over here, my cannon takes a pot shot at the, the giant that's right next to the spider. Hits and does 3 wounds to him, I believe, which is great. It's half dead at least. And then we go into combat. And it's as brutal as you think. I take out 2.5 ranks worth of these guys. I do lose 1 in return. I win this combat. He's Steadfast 5 and makes her break check. Literally rolled snake eyes. Oh, God. The one saving grace is by killing off the guy on the left. Only one giant can charge in, but it's going to be in the flank, and it's going to be brutal. Off a hill, no less. Gamble failed. So with that, we go over here to bottom of 2, and yeah, as you can see on the right side there, the giant slammed into the Tusker Cav exactly like it should have, and that's really, really bad. The rest of his army, his trolls, his spider, and his remaining giant come forward to put a lot of pressure on me. I don't have a choice now, I'm going to have to charge. His orcs, his common orc brick charge into the flank of Lord Tremendous. I thought about fleeing. I really did. In fact, I think I did declare flee, and then I changed my mind and said, nope, he's going to stand. Screw it. Let's see how he does. They're just common orcs. If I can roll average, I should be able to make my break check. It's another gamble. I'm a bad player, so I went for it. If you can hold him there, I've got the brick, because Elf Eater can come in, and that would be bad for them. If I can't hold him there, I lose Lord Tremendous and some pride. But that's fine. I got pride to spare. His Spider Riders do rally, turn to face. They can't act as normal because they fled from a charge non-voluntarily. The Common Raiders on the right side there on the Wolves, they don't rally again and flee off the table. So, yeah, my opponent was not happy about that, and I totally understand. The only other thing is his Dashers, I think, with his General, slam into the Saber-Tooth Tiger that's still within 8 inches of the Goblins, and that's good. I'm fine with sacrificing the Tiger if it gets any Mad Gets in that unit released. And that's it for movement. There's a better picture of her giant slamming into the Tusker Cav, and yeah, that's my fault. Well played, but, damn it. And there's a better picture of another gamble of her orc slamming into the flank of Lord Tremendous. I gotta quit playing so reckless. There's a better picture of her Forest Raiders rallying, which, with the Common Raiders fleeing off the table, this is okay. I was really surprised at the brick of 10 fleeing off the table like that. Really threw me off. And there's a better picture of the Common Raiders just not wanting to be here today. They went home. I didn't kill any of them. They got away. During a magic phase, she kills another tribesman out of the Conqueror unit with Pyromancy. And I was trying to stop her spells this time because I was like, no! And still, just they were getting through and popping ogres, which sucks. And then she put a little template one, I don't remember what it's called, right in front of her unit, making it very dangerous for me to charge them. I thought that was a neat way to use the spell as like an anti-charge deterrent. It worked. I won't charge them with that thing there. And it is a rip, so I'm going to have to spend dice to get rid of it. Clever. Very clever. During the shooting phase, due to the rules, she had to release her Mad Git because meat is sitting right there, and yes, I was pleased about that. So the Mad Git comes flying out 11 inches, just holy shit, right towards Elf Eater and stuff like that. It's just completely bypassed the template and everything. She was able to get it past there, and oh my, I expected it to come out. I didn't expect it to come out that far. Nothing else happens in shooting, so we go into combat, and Lord Tremendous wins. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. He lost combat by 2, needed a 7 to stick, and made it, and then I rolled a 7 to turn to face. Very lucky there. Very, very lucky. Losing by 2, God knows I failed leadership 7s before, but today there was some fight in him, and thank God, because that would have sucked to lose my left flank to a bunch of common orcs, which honestly probably should have happened. So yeah, worked out nice. Over here, I believe their Nasher Dashers beat the crap out of the Saber-Tooth Tiger. We thought that they went at the same initiative, but ones went at higher initiative than the Saber-Tooth Tiger, and were able to kill it before I got any wounds. That's why you see one in the back. I didn't kill anything. She killed the tiger flat out, and yeah, it was still a noble sacrifice. And then afterwards, she just reforms like that, and c'est la vie. Over here in combat, my Tuskers got to go, yay Tuskers, and they were able to kill off like 3 of these guys maybe, not much. If anything, I might be wrong, they might not have gotten to attack at all, but I lose one to the Nashers, and then the giant thumps with club. So, or whatever it is, where I take a wound and I'm not allowed to attack if I haven't attacked already, so the one Tusker never got to attack. So charge, flank, down a hill, super flank, 2 ranks, 4 or 5 wounds, to banner and war standard. I lose by 1 trillion, and I think I auto break. My Tusker Cav desperately try to get away. They roll a 10, but his giant rolls a 12, or her giant rolls a 12, and cuts him down. The Nashers only went about 6, something like that, 5 or 6. So at least they were kind, but that giant wasn't having it and just murdered the last Tusker Cav. Oh well. So we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and I go all in. We're told at this turn that this will be our last turn. We have to finish up. Like I said in the beginning of the report, we started way, way late. People were already in their 2nd turn by the time we were starting deployment. So what can you do? That's what we get for having poor time management. So knowing that, I go all in. Elf Eater charges into his general's unit, makes it. The Conquerors charge into the Trolls and make it. The good old boys charge into his Gargantula and make it. My Thunder Cannon tried to charge into the giant with 2 wounds left and failed. Life isn't always fair. And that's really it. The Trappers went after the Spider Riders, or the Forest, Forest Raiders. And my, Scrappling stayed exactly where they were because they were going to fire every shot they had at the Mad Git to try to kill it. I was expecting a lot more than 1, so this actually is something I could deal with. Rufus moves up to get within 6 inches of the Spider and the Trolls so that they go at initiative 1, hopefully, or -3 initiative anyway. See, I learned. And Skaz gets into position to try to fire off a spell at the Giant and kill it, the one with only 2 wounds left. That is it for movement. There's a better picture of everything pretty much making it into combat, except for the chariot that missed that giant on the right side. And, if you want, take a moment and really appreciate the paint job on these goblins. I mean, from left to right, the Nasher Dashers look great. The Trolls, blue Trolls, thought that was great. Their Gargantua looks beautiful. And that giant model with the bag full of sea urchins and everything like that. There's an octopus in there. Very, very cool. And they're not done painting them from what they told me. They got details and stuff to put on there. I'm loving it. My magic phase is useless. Nothing gets off. She's able to stop it, no problem. So we go into shooting, and my randos are able to take out the Mad Git, which is very nice. Yeah, I needed like 8s to hit, but I only needed to wound once, and I did, and it worked. So, whew, thank God. Nothing else happens in shooting, so we go into combat, and Lord Tremendous is able to decimate this unit of orcs. They are still steadfast, but thanks to that -1 leadership from Fear, because the Tusker causes fear, they break, and Lord Tremendous runs them down. Not bad. Not bad at all. Then over here, Elf Eater and Shyhammer are able to just destroy that unit of Nasher Dashers. I think there was one left, and then just from the impact hits or something like that, there was only a handful left. Shyhammer with his lance were able to kill 2 more, and I put every attack that Elf Eater had on the Goblin General. The Goblin General was able to do 3 wounds to Elf Eater before he got taken down by Elf Eater, and the remaining Nasher Dashers broke and exploded or just died or whatever it was they do when they lose combat and get run down. So that was awesome. Elf Eater and Shyhammer are a terrifying combo. Over here, combat's a little trickier. I got a hold of her trolls, and thanks to Lethal Strike from my BSB, I was able to get 3 wounds through just from him. The unit itself is able to do 1 or 2 to actually get through, because Regen's a son of a gun. In return, I only lose 1. She opted not to puke. Instead, she just swung back, and I lose a guy in return, but I've got Charge, Banner, BSB, and 4 wounds to 3 wounds. I win this combat. With the general dead, they're basically auto-breaking. They flee, and they flee like madmen. I think they went 11 inches to my 4 or something crazy like that. And they get away. But they're fleeing, and it's going to be hard for them to rally. So I think I got the trolls. Over here, this is insane. So I get in there, and my tribesmen aren't able to do anything to the Gargantula. My general goes at initiative 1 because of the hardened shield, or initiative 2, something like that. Something low, so the Gargantula gets all of its attacks and is able to kill 2 tribesmen outright. In return, though, thanks to Jack's pickaxe, my general is able to do 6 wounds to the Gargantula. It's Towering Presence. So, Charge, Banner, and 6 wounds to 6 wounds. I win by 2, and this thing is stubborn. It flees, and it gets away. My guys are not sprinters. What can I tell you? They're low on the initiative totem pole. The giant spider does take another wound from dangerous terrain for fleeing through the water effect there, but it gets away, and it's her turn next. So, and it's it. So either it breaks off the table, or I'm only getting. Well, I mean, I guess I get half points, fleeing and below 25% wounds. So I guess I don't really care either way, as long as it doesn't rally. So here's bottom of 3 after movement. This will be the last turn, because we were warned when we started this turn that we had to stop afterwards. And my opponent doesn't give up. She charges like crazy. The giant on the right side there that took out the Tusker Cav charges the Chariot. Chariot flees because it fails its terror check and gets run down. The other giant charges Skaz. Skaz fails his terror check and flees, but Skaz flees like a beast and goes like 11 inches, so the giant fails. Rufus stands there and goes, gosh, I wish there was another turn. Her trolls rally on Snake Eyes. Literally rolled Snake Eyes and rallied. Blew my mind. The spider, the Gargantula, does not rally, continues to flee, gets out of the water hazard, and passes its dangerous terrain checks. Go figure. The goblins stay put, and the spider goblins on the left flank there, they move up to throw their pointed objects at the trappers. And that's it for movement. There's a better picture of the most terrifying giants on the planet running down my scared cannon and trying to run down Skaz, who, let's face it, probably wouldn't have rallied and ran off the table next turn. And there's a better picture of her trolls rallying and her Gargantula continuing to flee. So, win some, lose some. During the magic phase, her Pyromancy Shaman is able to put a wound through on Lord Tremendous. I let this one go, thinking his 3-up, 5-up was going to be enough, 4-up, 5-up, and I was wrong. He took a wound, and had there been another turn, that could have been really, really bad. And with there being, the shooting doing nothing, and there being no combat, there's the end of the game. Like I said, this game was just starting to get, hot and heavy with the combat and everything like that. There's no telling which way this would have gone. Yeah, I'd have taken the Conquerors back into the Trolls. Elfeater would have charged the cannon. Rufus would have charged the giant with 2 wounds left, but would she have made all those charges had it not been the last turn? There's no telling. We'll never know exactly how this game should have played out, but again, that's both of our faults. I had a late lunch with the group, and she thought she didn't know when we were coming back, so she ran out to do a little shopping. It is what it is. It was still a really fun game. We had a lot of fun. I enjoyed playing against her army. It's a beautiful army. And to be honest with you, I think one of the only reasons I actually won this game is because it was, only 3 turns long. In 3 more turns, this whole thing could have turned against me. We'll never know. But we'll get to the recap in a minute because this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Like I said, this was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I won by 602 points. We totaled it up. We were trying to catch up, so yeah, I won by 602, and only because the game ran short. I ended up losing half points for Skaz because he was fleeing. I lost both my saber-toothed tigers. I lost my Tusker Cav, and I lost my cannon. Everything else was healthy for the moment. I truly do believe that had this game been allowed to play, all 6 rounds, and again, not the tournament's fault, it was our fault, I think it would have been a much closer game, and I don't know for sure if I would have pulled off the victory. Things were kind of going to that point where it could have went either way. This is a very unique all-goblin list, with the exception of some orcs. It was exciting to play against. It was cool to see a lot of these things. I'm not thrilled that my Tusker Cav got punked, but that's what happens when you gamble. Could have happened the same way on both sides. I gambled with Lord Tremendous, and that actually worked out for me. So what can you do? And my Trappers did amazing this game. Like, they shouldn't have been able to do that well against those Spider Rider guys. Yeah, I was very pleased with them and very shocked. I hope it happens every game. Like I hinted at earlier, Pyromancy is really powerful. Like, I didn't realize just how much damage it could put out. I might have to look at that path closer before I just dismiss it again, because that terrified me. I performed much better in this game than I did in my first game. I think I was able to uncork my head from my butt. But we'll see. Lord Tremendous taking the orcs on was nerve-wracking, especially after failing the first gamble, but I got lucky, but man, that was luck. That could have went south really fast. And Git launchers are terrifying. A lot of the reason that they didn't do any damage was because of Chilling Howl, but man, if I didn't have that spell, there's a very good chance that Elfeater would have been dead. Ugh. This, of course, was a really, really fun game against a really fun opponent, against that who was playing a really fun army. Competitive. It wasn't like a fluff army. It was a rough army to go up against. I would love a future rematch, and if we did get the future rematch, I would love to play a full 6 turns just to see how it would really play out. But yes, excellent game. Would love a rematch. Here, I would like to just take a moment to say thank you to everybody that supports me financially through Patreon, PayPal, and other means. I have a decent amount of people that support me, and I really do appreciate them. Many of them want to remain anonymous, and I respect that. But these are the individuals that allow me to thank them properly on my channel. Alex of the Vale Renegades, South Florida's Gamermancy team, Daniel Jolson, and Caillou Choi. Thank you guys very, very much. I do appreciate it, and I hope I continue to be worthy of your patronage, even though my games aren't playing a full 6 rounds anymore. Seriously though, guys, thank you very much. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Battle Report number 58 is officially in the history books. I'm 1-1 at the tournament so far, which is average, which is about how I usually finish. And I know what went wrong, I know what went right, so I'm really going into Game 3 with high hopes, high expectations, and looking forward to seeing who I go up against, because it's going to be awesome. And I know how the third game turns out. I loved it. I thought it was a great game. And hopefully you do too. But that's Battle Report 59. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put it in the comments section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.